What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and of course we're talking about today the British Grand Prix and everything that's happened since the last. Of course, that's only a week, so not much has happened, but of course we still got big news considering the driver market and what a race it was in the end then. And well, we're going to get straight into the news with Ollie Bearman being announced as the Haas driver for next year. Not very surprising, but that does mean one less seat for next year. And Ollie Bearman, of course, that was very much predicted by everyone to happen for next year, as he will replace Hulkenberg or Magnussen, but it looks like Hulkenberg. Going into FP1 though then, and it was a red flag caused by Yuki Tsunoda, a very short red flag though, and not doing much except for mildly disrupting the session. And it was Lando Norris who topped FP1 then, and another thing that happened going into FP2 was him topping it once more. So then, looking into FP3, we had another red flag with Pierre Gasly getting beached in the gravel at the final chicane, but it was this time George Russell who topped FP3 from a Mercedes 1-2 and a Brit 1-2-3. But this time, it was raining. Going into qualifying then, and it was Q1, and it was Lewis Hamilton who topped Q1, but out was Bottas, Magnussen, Ocon, Perez, and Gasly in dead last. But this session wasn't interesting because of that. Well, it was. Well, it's because Perez had this accident when he joined onto the slicks, and here it is then. He just aquaplanes off and spins round into the gravel trap, getting beached here in the Red Bull. He just joined onto the track with the dry compound tyres, and that sees him out. And starting from the pit lane, it was in the race. Q2 then, and it was topped by Lando Norris, but this time Leclerc out in P11, Sargent, Tsunoda, Zhou and Ricciardo out in P15. Leclerc not showing very good pace, and nor was his teammate Carlos Sainz, but Carlos Sainz making it through into Q3, in which George Russell grabbed pole position, and it was a Mercedes 1-2, and once again a Brit 1-2-3 with Norris in P3, Verstappen P4 from Piastri, Hulkenberg, Sainz, Stroll, Albon and Alonso rounding out the top 10. But before we got to the race, we got the trailer for the F1 movie from Apple, and it does look very, very good. As you can see, just everything is very good. Drama, spins, crashes, but the race itself was just out of Hollywood, really. As they said, it was Lewis Hamilton who won the race in the end, getting his first win in 2 and a bit years, and his 104th win overall. Nine at one track, and it was Verstappen who was chasing him down at the end on the hard compound tyres, finishing in P2. At one point, Verstappen was down in P6 and looking like he was out of contention for anything, but suddenly, as soon as the track went dry again, he just turns up out of nowhere and overtook this man, Lando Norris. He finished in P3, who should have really been on the medium tyres towards the end after the intermediates, but he did go onto the softs, and that's what's really cost him the race win at his home Grand Prix here today. And yeah, he should have been winning the race. Retirements, we did have George Russell, who retired due to a mechanical fault. After being in contention the whole time, he was down in around P4, but he was called into the box by his engineer and told to retire the car. A more bizarre one, though, was Pierre Gasly, who completed the whole formation lap before the Frenchman's engine gave up and he retired before the lights had even gone out on the racetrack. Looking at then my best team for the weekend, and it has to be Mercedes, just because they did a 1-2 in FP3, 1-2 in qualifying, then what could have been a 1-2 in the race, but it has to be Mercedes surely. Worst team though has to be Ferrari. They really didn't bring much for this weekend. Leclerc going out in P11 for Q2, and then Leclerc coming down and quite far down, and Sainz really holding everything together in P5, Leclerc not scoring points. So let's look at the rest of the standings in the race. It was Piastri P4 from Sainz, Hulkenberg, Stroll, Alonso, Albon, Tsunoda rounding out the top 10. Sargent, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Leclerc, Bottas, Ocon, Perez and Zhou are the last of the finishing runners. And of course you had Russell and Zhou not finishing. So if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.